A whole host of BJP leaders, led by the Prime Minister, have now started raising issues of Article 370, of the Galwan Valley clashes, of nationalism in the Bihar elections. Those in the opposition asked Dr. Patra, what does a local state assembly election have to do with these issues, which are more relevant for a general election rather than an assembly election? The charge against you is, because there isn't enough development, you want to get people charged up on issues like nationalism so that they forget local issues and focus on national issues like 370, like the Galwan clashes. Let's start with Dr. Patra.
Thank you, Rahul. I would say state is a subset of the nation. So, of course, state issues are important, as are the national issues. We have local leaders and we have national leaders. The local leaders, including the Chief Minister, Mr. Nitish Kumar, have been speaking vociferously on the local issues. I remember when I also, as a leader from Delhi, go and hold press conferences there, we are given all the details of the local development which we carry out in the local press conferences. But when the Prime Minister, who is a national leader, he's on the dais, he speaks both about the national issue as well as the state issues. It's not that in today's one-hour speech, Prime Minister Narendra Modi did not address the state issues. He did address the state issues, but of course there was a paragraph about Article 370 and certain other national issues like China. Two things. Number one, to say that the parties who in fact are in Gupkar Alliance are only existing in Jammu and Kashmir and they have nothing to do with the ones who are contesting election in Bihar is wrong. Because I remember categorically that the Gupkar Alliance was initially signed by the Congress party as well. CPM has welcomed it, and the day Mr. Farooq Abdullah came out and said after the alliance's meeting that we want China's help to reinstate Article 370, this was the tweet of Mr. P. Chidambaram, a tall leader of the Congress party, and I read out the tweet. The Congress also resolutely stands for restoration of the status and rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. The arbitrary and unconstitutional decisions of the Modi government of August 5, 2019 must be rescinded. So of course the Congress party also said that whatever the Gupkar Alliance is demanding is our demand. Okay. So it's our duty, I would say it's one of our foremost duty to go and take these issues into the public domain in Bihar.
Pawan Khera, Sambit Patra eloquently argues the Prime Minister is a national leader. He takes up not just regional local issues but also national issues. And yes, P. Chidambaram, our former Home and Finance Minister, has come on record and said that the view of the Gupkar Alliance is also the view of the Congress party, that he will, if he comes back to power, ask for the restoration of Article 370. Therefore, it's totally legitimate to put these issues before the people of Bihar. Pawan Khera.
The Prime Minister is known to be resorting to such issues which have a potential to have divided opinions. After all, nobody can have a divided opinion on the need for employment, on the need for highway number 70 in Bihar instead of 370 in Kashmir. Because in Bihar, these are the issues. And as a Prime Minister, I mean, what use is the Prime Minister as a national leader if he cannot focus on state issues, if he cannot give a report card of the last 15 years of his alliance with Nitish Babu? He has to come out clean. Last election, Rahul, you were also covering it extensively. 5 years ago, the same Prime Minister was giving a list of 55 scandals against the same Nitish Babu. Today, they were sitting on the same dais. So, the questions will be asked and he's afraid of these questions. So, whenever the Prime Minister resorts to Hindustan, Pakistan, Hindu, Musalman, Shamshan, Kabristan, believe me, he knows he's losing the election. Therefore, he wants to shift our focus from the actual issues on hand here in Bihar to issues which really don't matter to the youth in Bihar right now who is struggling, fighting for a job. The youngest state of the country, and this is what the Prime Minister has to come and mislead them. So, there are fault lines everywhere. You and I, Rahul, have different opinions about every issue.